Before we go dark, hit that like button and subscribe, because in the world we're entering, information is the only currency that doesn't inflate. Listen to the silence. It's been 3 days since the grid went down, and the terrifying hum of the city has been replaced by a quiet so heavy it feels like pressure in your ears. You aren't scared of the cold yet, and you aren't starving. Not really. You are terrified of the people outside. The social contract didn't just break, it evaporated. Your neighbors, the ones you borrowed sugar from, are no longer friends. They are biological competitors. In this new reality, the greatest threat to your survival isn't the lack of resources, but the possession of them. If you look fed, if you look warm, if you look prepared, you are painting a bullseye on your front door. Most preppers get this stage entirely wrong. They fall into the trap of the tactical peacock. They board up windows with fresh plywood. They patrol their perimeter with visible rifles, and they run generators that scream, "I have power," to a 5-mile radius. They treat their home like a castle, believing that a show of force will deter looters. They are wrong. A show of force doesn't scare a starving mob. It invites the most dangerous kind of predator, the one who realizes that if you have guns and walls, you have something worth dying for. Today, we are going to strip away that ego. We are going to dismantle the fortress mindset and replace it with the discipline of the ghost. I'm going to show you how to disappear in plain sight using nothing but trash, basic physics, and a total suppression of your ego, turning your home into a void that the desperate eyes of the collective will slide right over. The first rule of becoming invisible is mastering the physics of light, specifically the airlock protocol. Standard blackout curtains are a good start, but they fail because of the pinhole effect. At night, when the rest of the suburb is an abyss of black, single photon leaking through a gap in your blinds, looks like a lighthouse. To fix this, you don't just cover the window, you create a light trap zone. You need to identify a central room in your house, preferably one without exterior walls, and turn that into your hard life zone. If you must use light, you use red filtered flashlights. Why red? Because the human eye's rods, which detect low light, are less sensitive to long wavelengths. Red light preserves your natural night vision, and, crucially, it has a terrible throw distance. It dies before it hits the window glass. You are going to build a room within a room using blankets or a camping tent set up inside your living room. You do your reading, your map checking, and your gear maintenance inside that tent. If a light leak happens there, it hits the living room wall, not the street. You contain the photons like you contain a virus. Once the light is dead, you have to kill the sound. In a grid-down scenario, the ambient noise floor drops to zero. A dropped can of beans sounds like a gunshot. You need to dampen the acoustic signature of your existence. Go to your linen closet and pull out every heavy wool blanket, comforter, and spare mattress you own. You aren't using these for warmth right now. You're using them as baffles. Hang heavy blankets over your windows, extending past the frame. This does two things. It adds a secondary layer of light discipline, but more importantly, it absorbs the high frequency vibrations of your voice and movement. Sound is just physical vibration traveling through a medium. Hard surfaces, like glass and drywall, act as drumskins, transmitting that vibration to the outside. Soft, porous mass absorbs it. Don't walk on your hardwood floors with boots. Wear thick wool socks. If you have to move gear, you never drag it. You lift and place. You are relearning how to exist without making an impact on the air around you. The third signature is the most dangerous because it triggers the most primal instinct in your enemy: smell. The scent of cooking meat or spices can travel for half a mile on a breeze, acting as a dinner bell for everyone who hasn't eaten in a week. You need to implement the boil, don't burn rule immediately. Frying, searing, or roasting releases airborne oil particles that carry scent heavy and far. Stop doing it. Instead, you are going to cook exclusively by boiling or rehydrating in a sealed environment. Use a thermos or a pressure cooker. Bring your water to a boil. Dump your freeze-dried meal or rice into a thermos and seal it tight. This is known as thermal cooking. The food cooks in its own retained heat with zero escaping vapor. You only open that thermos when you're in your airlock room with the doors closed. If you have to vent a pressure cooker, you do it into a wet towel saturated with vinegar or bleach water to neutralize the organic compounds in the steam. You are scrubbing the air of your presence. Now, we move to the exterior, and this is where we apply the tableau of ruin. You want your house to look like it has already been violated. The tactical peacock cleans up his yard to have a clear field of fire. You are going to do the opposite. You are going to practice artistic looting. Take the non-organic trash you generated, cardboard boxes, plastic packaging, broken furniture, and scatter it across your front lawn. If you have a storm door, break the glass. Leave the main door intact and locked, but make that outer shell look shattered. Smear mud on your pristine white siding. If you have a decorative fence, kick a section of it down. You are manipulating the risk-reward calculation of the looter. When a scavenger scans a street, they are looking for the path of least resistance and highest reward. A house with trash on the lawn and a broken window signals that someone else has already been there and picked it clean. It tells a story of poverty and emptiness. You want them to look at your home and feel nothing but disappointment. This deception extends to the entry points with the decoy door method. A solid steel security door screams that there is something valuable behind it. You need to mask your security, keep your deadbolts and your heavy-duty strike plates, but camouflage the door itself. Hang a cheap, flimsy screen door off one hinge in front of it. Let mail pile up on the porch until it rots. If you have a chaotic accumulation of flyers and newspapers, it signals absence. But here is the expert edge. You need to secure the door from the inside in a way that is invisible from the outside. Use floor-mounted door jammers or crossbars that brace against the frame but leave no exterior screw heads. To the person standing on your porch, the door should look neglected and weak, not fortified. If they try to kick it, they should meet the immovable force of the house's structure, shocking them. But ideally, the visual cue of the hanging screen door convinces them not to bother trying. Eventually, you may have to leave the sanctuary. This brings us to the theater of misery. This is behavioral camouflage. If you walk out of your house wearing clean tactical pants, a crisp jacket, and standing with your shoulders back, you look like a threat or a supply drop. You need to adopt the gray man persona, but dialed up for the collapse. You need to dress down to the threat level of your neighborhood. Wear clothes that are 2 sizes too big. Why? Because baggy clothes hide the outline of your concealed weapon, but they also hide your body mass. In a starvation scenario, visible muscle or a healthy weight makes you a target because it implies you have a food source. You need to look shrinking. Scuff your boots. Rub dirt and ash into the fabric of your jacket. When you walk, shorten your stride. Drop your shoulders. A subtle limp changes your silhouette from predator to prey, making you unworthy of engagement. Furthermore, you must mask the glow of health. A well-fed, hydrated human has oily skin and clear eyes. You need to dull that shine. Smudge a little charcoal or dirt on your T-zone, the forehead and nose, to cut the reflection of natural oils. This isn't theatrical makeup. It's breaking up the pattern of a healthy face. You want to trigger the uncanny valley response in people where they look at you and see sickness, fatigue, and uselessness. You are not a warrior. You are a ghost passing through the ruins. If someone makes eye contact, you don't stare them down. You avert your gaze, not out of submission, but out of exhaustion. You are playing a role, and the Oscar goes to the one who survives the day without drawing a weapon. Finally, you must master the art of waste management, or the silent flush. When the water stops flowing, the toilet becomes a biohazard time bomb. If you simply throw bags of waste into the street, you're signaling that people are alive and defecating inside that house. It's a biological signature. You need a bucket system lined with heavy-duty bags and covered with kitty litter, sawdust, or lime to desiccate the waste and kill the smell. But you cannot leave these bags on the curb. You must bury them in your backyard under the cover of darkness. or store them in a sealed garage corner, double bagged. The absence of trash on the street is a clue, but a pile of fresh trash is a beacon. You have to find the middle ground. Old, sun-bleached trash on the lawn is camouflage. Fresh, white trash bags are a signal. Know the difference. Survival isn't about the gear you buy, it's about the mindset you adopt. It is the realization that in a collapse, your ego is a liability. The desire to look strong, to look clean, and to look masters of your domain is a remnant of the old world. In the new world, resourcefulness is king, and anonymity is the castle walls. You have to be willing to live in simulated squalor to protect your actual wealth. You have to suppress the urge to fix the broken shutter because that broken shutter is the only thing convincing the mob that your house is empty. Picture the scene again. It's 2 weeks in. A group of looters moves down your street. They are hungry, desperate, and angry. They stop in front of the Tactical Peacock's house, the one with the generator hum and the boarded up windows. They see a challenge. They see resources. They kick in the door, and the violence is sudden and loud. Then they drift toward your house. They see the trash scattered on the lawn. They see the broken window and the dark, lifeless interior. They smell nothing but the stale dust of the street. They glance at your front door, hanging slightly ajar, and they keep walking. You're watching them from the airlock, a red flashlight in your hand, heart hammering against your ribs, safe in the shadows of your own design. You didn't win a firefight. You won the war because they never even knew you were playing. Stand defiant in your obscurity. Tell me in the comments, what is the one comfort item you would struggle to hide in a grid down scenario? I'll see you in the next one, provided you stay invisible.